Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spar and Brawl. I hope you're having a decent day. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Sam. I'm back with a new episode of Progressive World Mini. So as usual, you can find timestamps down below, and please like and subscribe. So apologies for the setup if it doesn't look too good. We're trying to change it, but yeah, I'm sure this time it's not going to look too good, but over time it should get better. But yeah, so apologies in advance. But we have a few stories. I can perhaps show them very quickly now that we have this set up. So here we're going to talk about again about the Hill and the Rising, and some of the issues they had over some of the debates that they had last week over what's his name, Elliot Page. So we'll talk about that. Then we have some other Rising stories that we're going to discuss. This one's an interesting one about Sri Lanka. Then this video by Wisecrack, Sam. It's can you remind me again this one?
We have two videos. There is the one that we both watched on gun control, and then the one they have a really good video on Superbad. So
a bad faith interview on inflation. Katie Harper talked to Vijay Prashad. He said some very interesting things about democracy now. I mean, pretty much what Glenn and Aaron Matthew have been saying, but that was interesting coming from him. She also spoke to Chris Hedges. We're going to comment on that hilarious debate that Anna and Cenk had, and that the Vanguard then discussed about, the Polish Larpers who pretend to be American. And then we'll just touch on the Kyle Kalinske and Jordan Peterson debate. And finally, a last story about two of Sam's favorite, Nina Jankovic, the misinformation lady, and
a genuine fairy tale has come true. The egg meets Mary Poppins, the evil Mary Poppins. Brilliant. But still. But, yeah,
okay, all right. Yeah. Let's get this started, Sam. So should I read a little bit of this article, or would you like to comment?
Let me give a bit of a framing. So as you know, there was that whole Olayemi Kim Iversen debate, and I found it interesting that it was quite like, it's not, to be honest, it's such a small, it's not an issue that, I mean, to be honest, I'm becoming an expert on after talking to goddamn like 4 psychiatrists and 2 neurologists about it, but it's not the issue that I think is the biggest issue in the world, or the most important, or the most crucial. I think economic issues are. And but like, it caused quite a lot of reaction. I mean, what did you think of Vanguard Boys' take? Because there was quite a negative backlash, let's say, on the left, and Vanguard take is one of them, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't listen to it, but I can imagine how it went.
Oh, I thought you listened to it, man.
Not to the Vanguard take. No, I've seen the original video, I mean, a bunch of times right now, but not the Vanguard take.
Oh, man.
Or maybe I did and I forgot. But yeah, I can imagine that they went
crazy.
They were on Olimi's side, I can imagine, and the dead name and all this.
Yeah, they were, to be honest, harsher in some ways than Mike Figurino, that also commented that she's
I watched that. Oh my god, I did watch it.
Told you.
Through the Mike Figueredo, because then they're like, yeah, Kim, come sue us, I dare you. That was funny. Yeah, imagine you take the Vanguard Boys to,
I swear to God,
to court. Zach will be like, Your Honor, I have to work at the bar in 20 minutes. So if you can wrap this up, I gotta go.
I gotta go. I promise guys at the Revolutionary Hangout that I'm gonna be for a meeting. And sorry, what do you mean I can't smoke weed?
We have nothing but respect for Kim. However, we think she's in the wrong here. No, actually, they were going pretty bad at her. I think they even my bad. I completely forgot. And actually,
they kept saying, to be honest, not just Kim, they kept saying, how stupid do you have to be to understand this? How stupid do you? I was like, okay, I'm a bit of stupid, guys. Don't be too harsh on the stupid people. It's fine.
Yeah, no, they were, and I mean,
I swear to God, though, I have to become like, I have to change, like, as a human, to like archive of what I've seen and what other people see. Like, I know what you and my other friends seen better than, what is that movie? It's that one you've seen.
Yeah, I seriously have some issues. And check this out. I forgot, and I even messaged you this. The 29th minute, right? They called, actually, I think this was Gavin. Gavin called Kim a rich, entitled piece of shit.
Jesus. by the way, these are the people who are saying that if you call somebody by their former name, you're causing psychological distress. Like, I don't think if you call somebody a piece of shit, you're causing psychological distress. But I'm just surprised that this was the issue. That, man, the Vanguard guys. I feel like the Vanguard guys, they, I feel this with a lot of, to be honest, the kids of their generation. I don't know, like they never had like a real social issue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they feel like, and the woman, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I don't know why the woman issues is never enough for a lot of people on the left, because we are so bad at that. Like, we're still as humanity, I mean. But I feel like their generation didn't have the gay thing, or like ours did. Like, or maybe with like previous generation, it would have been the interracial thing, or, so they have to like make this so much. I don't know, because I don't think it's even comparable to a scale of the gay issue. I'm sorry, but it's
and I mean
that.
Yeah, and this story, we talked about it. I mean, it's kind of you agree with both sides because they're not disagreeing with one another. If you actually like listen to their points,
no,
I mean, Robbie, I guess unless Olaimi is saying that no, you shouldn't be allowed in any situation legally to reference someone's old name, their previous name, then if that's her position, but I don't think that's really her position. But she kept on maybe making it seem like that Robbie and Kim want to go around and calling people by their former names, and they were like, no, we're not going to go around and do that. And if someone goes around and does that on purpose just to hurt someone's feelings, then they're clearly a piece of shit. However, we're just saying that it shouldn't be illegal to refer to someone by their old name. It's not a nice thing or a good thing, if you just do it for no reason, but it shouldn't be illegal. I mean, I've seen some people take it really far though. Like, one person was saying, I don't know where I said this, but they were like, yeah, so like if you're talking about Chelsea Manning, but you're talking about the actions that they did when they were called Bradley Manning, then you should call them Bradley Manning. I'm like, no, why are you making things so complicated? You're talking about this person before they change. No, you don't need to then revert back to the other name. No, I mean,
no, I don't. Yeah, I mean, look, I use whatever is the easiest in my view in languages. Just gives it like
no, but name. I mean, if someone changes their name, I will call them by their new name. Like, yeah, sure, of course.
Usually they ask like if, but I would say this again, and we've had family members who've changed their name, or, oh man, for this week's progressive geopolitics, I have some family studies. My family is connected to everything. I found out. Anyway, but unification little teaser, unification. But anyways, but we make fun of them behind their back because they changed. Like, there's a segment of the family that changed their, which is really weird. They changed their family name from like ministerially or something like that to sock maker. Which is like quite anyway, the other one sounds so much better anyway. But so I'm just saying, anyway, but it's not, I was so, but I find with a lot of younger people, I feel they get so animated about this issue, and I might be wrong, I doubt it, but I might be wrong about this issue, but they get so animated and so angry about this that I've never seen them this angry. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but sometimes people get animated about things, and I just want to make sure, are you like animated about the right thing? Like, did you hear what like I was saying? And then if you actually heard what I was saying or someone else was saying, then if you're animated, fine. But the thing is, with some topics, it's not even what you say, it's the topic itself. Like, as soon as the topic comes up, people's heads are suddenly like, they're already like 5 arguments down the road. You're like, come back. Just come back.
I did not mean to disagree to that.
Yeah, let's start.
But Olaimi and Vanguard guys, they talk about real. I remember that on Olaimi on the Hill about like they said it causes real psychological harm. And okay, if they believe that, then I don't know, man.
Like, maybe on someone it does, but then again, this is like an example of generalization. So now all trans people, if they just hear their previous name, they're gonna go into like a shock, which I doubt is true.
When we start when we start, I mean, nobody's talking about legal, I guess, action here, but when we start having legislation around what's causing psychological harm,
yeah.
I mean, I'm worried.
No, some things should definitely be handled more on the norms level, or just like on a cultural level. You just hope that people, are like, there are no laws saying that people should be decent and respectful to one another, right? Like, you're allowed to go around and be a total piece of shit, but most people, most of the time, for one reason or another, they act decent and humane.
Is that your experience? Well, yeah, maybe if
towards
I
you, maybe
Geneva.
not.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. Touche, motherfucker. Your specific personality may have something to do with your experiences.
Your lived experiences.
Maybe the fact that you start an argument every time you see somebody that does not leave a good impression.
Maybe because your face pisses people off, but
you know what is called a punctual face? You have one. Fair enough. So but man, departing the Vanguard, before just reading the article, the Vanguard guys, the bit about Muhammad Ali Clay, that was just the level of respect these two have for Muhammad Ali. Like, this man, he was a representative, one of the greatest men of the 20th century. I will not have his name be besmirched by this spoiled brat. Like, okay, calm the fuck down, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know who they think Muhammad Ali Clay was, but it was cool, but chill out. Like, it wasn't the prophet of some kind. I don't know. I wouldn't defend Gore Vidal this
to that extent.
Yeah, I mean, I say he's still best like human I know of, but it's not like that good that I don't besmirch this name, you pieces of shit.
But I don't know if there's much here to the article to say now that we talked so much.
I just wanted to.
Are there specific parts you want to read?
Yeah, somebody tweeted this. I was like, oh, interesting. Let's check out this new website. And then watch this TV anchor woman handle two transphobes like a total boss. All right, Court T, that's interesting. And then this is the best part. Yeah. By the way, can you find Olaimi's name? Maybe Google that while I just read this part.
Why?
Just Olaimi's full name. I tell you what. Anchor woman Olaimi Aldrin left two transphobic contributors talking in circles yesterday on The Hill TV. Fellow commenters Robbie Haircut with Eyes Suave and Kim Interruption Iversen spent the entire segment empathically wondering why they weren't allowed to dead name Elliot Page in the public eye.
Man, hold on. I mean, listen, we were just talking about how Kim's lawsuit and law action and all that, or even the threat of it is so bullshit and like childish and all this. You cannot accuse Kim of interrupting people. That I've seen. She's so good at letting the other side talk, and then she comes in. I mean, she's so good at that on The Rising. I mean, that just,
I mean, she's much better. First of all, let's acknowledge that probably on the whole of the YouTube, we are probably worse. On the all YouTube, all kinds of categories. We are the worst at that. But I feel compared to Brie and Olaimi, Olaimi and Brie are the worst. Robbie's the best, I would say. No.
But Kim too. I mean, Kim is. I mean, even the other ones, they're not like the worst interrupters. Maybe they do it a bit more than Kim, but exactly. That was.
All right. Well, anyway, but what did you think of? I love this. I mean, I hate this article. Sounds very biased and everything, but I love this. Start fellow commentators, Robbie Haircut with Eyes Suave. So going back to the article, meanwhile, Aldrin stuck to her guns and remained the sole voice on the panel to understand the concept of basic respect and personhood. It should be noted that this good faith mentioning of Page's former life that got someone kicked from Twitter doesn't exist. They are speaking about Jordan sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. They're speaking about Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin's Twitter suspension over dead naming the actor, and their statements were anything but in good faith. Peterson's original statement read, "Remember, Jesus, remember when pride
So
was a sin
stupid.
and Ellen Page just had her breasts removed by a criminal physician." By the way, I don't want to even read the rest of this article. I just want to talk about the writer and the publication. But just Peterson thing, it just came. Remember when pride was a sin? Okay, whatever. And Elliot Page just said, "Wait, what does the forest sport have to do with the other?"
It
Like,
has to
what?
be one of the stupid. I mean, it's such a stupid, nonsensical tweet.
He's such a stupid man. But
Even in
Ellen
only in his
Page
head
just
it makes sense. I mean, in his
no.
weird
I
like
don't understand this.
in
Because
this
the had her breast removed by a just had her. So that implies that up until now it was criminal. I don't know what it's just fucking. I feel like he's trying to use like interesting syntax to
yeah.
make the language more whatever. Anyway,
But yeah, this is the tweet that he is gonna, and he refuses to apologize about this tweet, of course,
yeah,
because I have nothing to apologize. It's so
we'll
principled.
see who cancels
Yeah.
who.
Take it easy, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
Take
Yeah.
it easy.
Well, anyway, so I was like, okay, this lady seems very fair-minded as a
Yeah.
journalist. So I clicked on her writing and I found two more articles, which listen, like one other article from same publication, 5 years after praying, Vercacious prayers answers. I mean, it had to do with, Croatia, praying for, I don't know, something. It's not interesting. I mean, look at the level of just look at these publications like output. Then go to next one. The next one is just the best because it just shows the idiocy of these. Community rallies around queer-friendly church after it gets defaced by homophobic vandals. Okay, this is where I really draw the line between like intelligent and this is like really sub-intelligent people. It's like, gay Muslims, homo Christians, queer, Jew,
Listen,
I mean,
you're reading into
Judaism.
things too literally.
No, man, I'm not reading. Wait. I mean, these are, by the way, these are the people who think that if you're not sure about trans people's name and stuff, you're beyond reproach. But the Bible, which says if you lie, I'm pretty much sure this is exact quote from the Bible that if you lie with another man, you're an abomination and you should be like killed. And that's like, yeah. We can get over that part. We can move on from that. We can see over our differences over that. But if you don't want to say Elliot Page, fuck you. You're dead. You're dead to me. Like, I mean, am I wrong there? Isn't that's such? I mean, they haven't edited Bible as well. Old Testaments haven't. I mean, New Testaments aren't meant as an update. They're addition, like their addition. Sorry, right? No,
yeah.
no idea. No.
I mean, you're trying to say that how confusing and nonsensical is it to like be gay or lesbian and also be religious, be Christian.
Not that even necessary. That is completely nonsensical and idiotic. Let's put that. And then you be exclusive of like people who are like have linguistic differences or like different ideologies with you. But then you're like, yeah, I can look over this whole, want to kill all the people like me. That's okay. That's fine.
If they seen that part or if they looked at that part or.
How can you miss that part? It's pretty okay. Well, all right, fair enough. That's good part too. People have a tendency to, people do have a tendency to miss the things. Yeah, that's fair enough. I've
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, should we move on to the next story?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I have nothing else. I tried to get a reaction out of you. This is probably why people don't like me, right?
Yeah.
That's like, this is specifically it, like, right? We got that. Anyways, yeah. So then we had The Hill. They had a couple of interesting, these videos were actually the most, like these were the impetus for me wanting to do the mini progressives for sure this week. What did you think of them? I don't know.
I mean, I really like the Sri Lanka one. Would be interesting. We'll talk about this one. Was just about the Kavanaugh thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, the Sri Lanka one we have to talk about on the progressive world, and that's really fascinating. But do you want to talk about that first, or
no, we can talk about either one. I mean, this one, do you have much to say? I don't have too much to say. We discussed it about in the tweets also.
One of the funny, I mean, again, who gives a shit about Justice Kavanaugh? I don't understand this justice and this libertarian, by the way, dream, and then also the Bachia Bargon Sargon of Akkad, Bhatia, whatever. She's the worst. By the way, the Hill, every week, the Hill sees me saying like, okay, they were good or they were bad. Like, oh, you see that we can make it worse. We can make it more insufferable. We're gonna put Bhatia on now. Oh, thank you. Anyways, it's just, and Bhatia, Kim, and Robbie, that's like the worst. It doesn't work at all because they all like pretty much, they all agree except Kim is a bit like better. But then, this libertarian and general liberal theory that judges should be, they should be politically object. They should not.
I know. I mean, she said
the people.
Yeah, that's what.
Except unless they're in a cult, the cult leader's whims gets on the way.
I mean, in a perfect world, it should be apolitical, I guess, and they're above politics. But that's not how life works.
Yeah,
and they're voted, and they're picked by political parties based on their political leanings.
Yes.
Like you couldn't be more political. They literally get picked by the job. Like half the requirement is your political leaning, the other half is being a judge. Like, of course, you need to meet that.
I mean, I can think of a couple of other sort of criteria that comes before that, but fair enough. But this bullshit. And then, I don't think it's a good thing. Then he talks about the AOC tweet. And this is where, I mean, we talk about it in our progressive tweets. People should check that out. But this is where I was shocked. So he talks about, the whole thing that she says that let them eat cake.
Yeah.
AOC says let them eat cake. And that's a reference to, you tell me?
Antoinette.
Yeah, Marie Antoinette and the revolutionaries and the hungry people and all that. And then Robbie's like, well, I mean, this is not a comparison I would make. If people don't know, the revolution in France ended with Marie Antoinette becoming convicted in a show trial and then having her head cut off in a guillotine. And I was like, oh, good for Marie Antoinette. 400 years later, is still people sticking up for her. This is too soon, AOC. Well, you can't do that. There were basically 3 monarchists in France, rural areas, going, we finally somebody is standing up for Marie. I mean, and then this is not a comparison I want to make because the show trial and. I mean, frankly, show trial and guillotine is better than what Justice Kavanaugh deserves. But it's what you're talking about. Like, this is. I mean, it just was too funny. The whole comparison with Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, but I thought he was trying to say that Marie Antoinette then got killed, so you might get killed too. But who would get killed? AOC or Kavanaugh? Okay.
Kavanaugh in this scenario. The revolutionaries are gonna break into the Supreme Court, take over, and then the modern version of Robespierre, which is, I assume, the QAnon shaman guy. He's gonna be the modern Robespierre. He's gonna be guillotining people in rows, and I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Man. Libertarians, man, they're so weird. Like, they sometimes bring up some of the weirdest shit. Like, I believe like the Stuart line, they have the right claim to the British throne. Really? You do? Okay.
I've started to realize, though, how wise they are. Like, not how wise they are. How wise they are to not show all of them, like all of themselves. Yeah. Like a leftist or a conservative, they're so proud, like immediately, like saying them, like, their biggest beliefs.
I love Palestine.
Then the libertarians are so quiet and like they're so good that whenever they see that there's one issue where they get to talk to people about it, they stick to that issue. because they know if they just bring up one other opinion, it's gonna like
It's
mess
not,
everything up. So they're very careful, and I guess
they're
they've
not
learned.
careful, man. They're not. It's
Rob
not.
is so
Yeah, it's
careful. I think that's
no,
why he
no,
doesn't interrupt others, because like,
no. It's not, libertarianism is not a political belief that you choose. It's a characteristic trait, and it like you've seen them in Iran. They exist everywhere. They exist. This characteristics that mixes sort of self-sufficiency with extreme stupidity. And so what you get is they're trained since childhood, because like when they start in childhood talking about issues, people really go, what? That's your opinion? Shut the fuck up, you can't say that. So I think they learn, they're like, it's become second nature by the time they're adults, that, oh shit, I shouldn't say all of my opinions in public. But if you're lefty or conservative, usually there is enough surrounding you, giving you support. Oh yeah, it's okay to like Palestine. It's fine. It's gonna happen. They're gonna achieve a statehood. Don't worry about it. It's any day now. Any day. Yeah. Oh, all right. Oh, sorry, Saudi recognized them. Oops. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think they're trained.
Yeah. Either way, they've learned by the time they become adults.
No offense
to like talk selectively. No, for sure. No, I mean, no, that's definitely the case. Anything else on this one?
No,
should we move on to Sri Lanka?
Was the funniest. Yeah, let's go to, I think, Sri Lanka.
So Sri Lanka is interesting. Do you want to maybe give a little overview of what's very quickly, and then also what Kim tried to bring on, what her take was?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's focus on Kim's thing today.
Yeah.
But what generally has been going on in Sri Lanka is what people tend to call chaos. I mean, at this one, I don't know. They burnt down the prime ministerial residence and are chilling out in the presidential one. I don't know what is the mixed messaging there a bit. But the guy, the prime minister, who's the brother of the other prime minister who was in charge for about 500 years, who's also the cousin. Man, the Sri Lankan cabinet was the best before this. Like, they had the best cabinet in the sense that, like, you had most family members of the prime minister. This is my cousin, second cousin, sister, my other sister, a stepbrother, godson, like everybody's a fan. So people basically just lost it. And I don't know if you saw the footage. Some of it
I know, awesome. I've seen it all.
I love the ones that people just start holding, just picking up the barricades and moving the barricades with the soldiers. It's just amazing. But Kim gave a radar on that. Her radar was that we should be aware of the dangers of organic farming and environmentalism, extreme forms of environmentalism. And what's the other thing she focused on? Shit, it's escaping my mind.
No, it was environmentalism, and she talked about the China debt and all that, but she said that that's only 10% of their debt. No,
maybe she talks about lockdowns or something.
No, she even that, she wasn't even COVID. She was like, no, it's not the COVID. She really went on the whole, on the pesticides, on the banning of the pesticides, which led, she said, to like a 50% or 25% drop in tea production, and them not being any more self-sustainable because of this. So I mean, I thought she was on a good. She was. I thought that was decent. No, what do you make of it?
No, I don't think it was decent. To be honest, I think it was very bad as a radar. I guess the whole point of radar is to give us an overview of the issue, not very deep, not very not very shallow.
But the reason I say it was good is because I hadn't heard that much about the whole pesticide thing, and the way that she framed it, at least it did seem like it would have had some, bad economic impact, negative economic impact.
Fair enough. But I think but that's missing the
that's my question.
Missing the trees for the forest.
That's my question
for the forest for the trees. I don't know. Well, missing one for the other.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're missing the trees or the forest, but you're missing one right now, buddy. My point being that, it's very reductive. It's extremely reductive, and I've seen some reductive takes. And this is, by the way, it's a highlight just to show.
Thought it was.
I think it was. I think such a good highlight of the show that shows that as far as you can take these progressive shows like Novaro Media, sadly, to an extent, The Hill, to an extent, Bad Faith, all of them. As soon as it goes a bit beyond their own borders, they really suck for some reason. I don't know why. Like they suddenly become like they are willing to go much further, it seems to me, than they have. They're willing to grasp for more than they can reach, if that makes sense. But anyways, yeah, I think it was extremely reductive. The situation in Sri Lanka has been building up for more than 3 decades, but the most recent situation, by the way, it wasn't just, I believe it wasn't just the banning of the chemical fertilizer. It was just they said like in 1 year we should do organic. All farming must be organic now. So which is just a stupid idea in general.
Beyond stupid,
I mean, like all the economists in Sri Lanka, outside Sri Lanka, in India, especially, everybody, no, don't do this. Like, and in a country, by the way, heavily dependent on agricultural products, especially rice, as an exporter of rice. But to reduce it just to even that is stupid. For example, there is so many things. I mean, that's why you should. Okay. First of all, the prime minister, brother of the old prime minister who got elected, I think very recently, again this year, re-elected, or less than 2 years ago, got re-elected. His whole campaign and election platform was on cutting taxes, and he did indeed cut taxes, leading to a huge downfall for the treasury of the country, naturally, because there's no incoming tax. Besides all of that, Sri Lanka is one of those countries that should be looked at as, in the same way, it's a less successful version of Singapore or Dubai. It's a country filled with highly expensive, highly luxurious camps, highly beautiful, highly expensive projects. I sent you a BBC video. It was about one of the like massive projects that is funded by Chinese as well as American private and Japanese governmental money and all that, and all of that money seemed to have either been, siphoned out of the country or have been wasted or something. So, and now there is no money to buy gas. So even if we believed in a neoliberal economic situation, you could say that, okay, maybe they don't have, self-sufficiency, but they should have had enough money through either taxes or even through businesses just being there. But because of the global system that we have, so I think it's highly ridiculous to just, I mean, okay, if you want to highlight what can be potential blowbacks, negative, negative blowbacks, backlashes that one is specific, really idiotic, like. And the idea that they did it because of environment, these people weren't environmentalists. They did it because they they had to do something. They had to prove they're busy because they're managing an island which is acting as an offshore investment opportunity for the rich people all around the world. And all they do is just, they build some parks for them. So Hunter Biden maybe can come and chill, and then they, what I mean? They have to keep
Kim
busy
showed,
somehow.
Kim showed there were like some international regulations that they wanted to comply with, and so they could keep on getting funding. I mean, I thought that it was interesting, the angle that she brought, but you're right. Of course, she reduced a host of other issues that are there just to this environmental one. I mean, what like made me a bit suspicious is that you could tell the video had this angle from the beginning. It's from the headline where she kind of tries to say, oh, look what can happen if you go too far with these environmental regulations, and this can happen, the same can happen in the US. I mean, any comparison that goes from Sri Lanka to US should be a big red flag. So for me, that was a big red flag. And I mean, but I thought it was an interesting thing that she brought in. But reduction, she reduced it all to that. That is very fair to say. And and then turning into cautionary tale about the US, that is just so, I mean, it's just, and then, man, it's so again, transparent.
And in all of this, after all of this, is still Batshit is the worst. Just her face all throughout, her concerned face. I hate that. Look at that concerned face. That's a fake concerned face. That is that's the equivalent of what Tucker Carlson does with his stupid, I'm looking, and this Batshit is like, I mean, I don't trust that one. But yeah, I don't like reductive arguments.
Yeah, really. Anything else to say here?
No. I think yeah, we also no, nothing else on the hill. I don't know.
No.
So Wisecrack this week decided to do something to check out our interview with Jared Bauer if you have time. It's a really one of the best, and probably one that I may have missed. I may have talked too much in that interview.
Nah.
But they decided to do two videos, one about the gun control, 40 minutes, and one about Superbad. And hey, they had a fantastic, I'm going to talk about it in our full progressive work, so I leave that for that. But they had a fantastic, interesting read comparing Hegel's German idealism with Ficke. Ficke, Schelling, and Hegel are the three big guys of German idealism. And increasingly, well, I'll leave that for later. But yeah, they did these two videos, one about gun control and one about Superbad and Hegelian reading and all that. So you can imagine, like, I was just, it's man, they're the best channel. And it really makes me like, I know they have a team and everything, but it's just the level of work they do. It puts us, like them and Chapo Trap House are the two, like, I'm hoping we get to at some point, hopefully in future, because the level of in the gun control one, like, I'm so sorry for any comment I made, especially early on the gun control, because yeah, it's just, it's so well researched, so well designed. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just so good. It's so good.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, it's 40 minutes. And if you're really interested in gun issues and gun control, especially in America, it's very America focused, obviously. So that was amazing. Yeah, again, fantastic work. And then the Superbad Hegel one, I can't wait to talk about that in our weekend one, man. But it was just so good. It was just so good. And yeah, it brought up Ficke, who's probably like my least favorite German philosopher, I would say, even more so than Hegel. And by the way, I don't know his name is Fichte. I've
never actually heard
just
of him.
in Wisecrack.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this person.
Well, he always comes up with Hegel or three. I know about him, to be fair. I know about him through Schopenhauer.
No, you didn't.
Who hated him.
I'm joking. I'm saying no, you didn't know about him. No, I'm joking. Okay, yeah. No, even the other guy you just mentioned, I've just heard of him, but I've never like read anything by him.
Schopenhauer is fun. Schopenhauer easily can be read, I would say. Schopenhauer is easy to read compared to any other fucking philosopher. And he's German, which is very weird for a clear German guy. That's all. But yeah, he was a student of Fichte. He was very, he called him a sophist, and, you know, he accused, and I agree with him largely. To be honest, that's what I wanted to get to, and I'll talk about it hopefully more on our weekend show. But you know, in my quest, you know, people like some people say that in your life you find the meaning of life and blah blah, and the meaning of life is the quest for love or quest for understanding or quest for truth. I've realized in my life the meaning comes from the quest for what I hate. And for a long time I've been, you know, democracy has been the focus of my hatred, and I hate it. Blah blah blah. Oh, with that, what can you do though? Oh, if you do this is worse. Blah. You're right. And then through reading Hegel, our Frankfurt series, and then these, thinking so much about democracy and all that, I've realized, and this video especially, I think, gave me that last push. It's not democracy, it's idealism. I fucking hate idealism. I just hate idealism. German idealism, which is rooted in the sort of Greek idealism. And yeah,
and by that you mean what? What do you mean by idealism? Like, is it like what, idolizing a specific kind of idea?
Yeah, it's I think it's idealization. It starts from idolizing beings, like with Plato talking about the ideal, like metaphysics and all that. And with German idealism, I think it sort of starts becoming like man as a god. It mixes with the northern sort of ideas of northern paganistic things, and it just starts through Protestantism, and these guys through science becomes man and man. And German idealism is extremely idealistic about, and every problem I have with Marxism comes from its idealistic things, from its idealistic interpretation of human nature, from its idealistic of interpretation of the potential power of the collective, that type of thing. So
and link that to democracy now. I think I'm able to follow
and
you.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not against voting. I'm not against franchisement of different groups, but this idea that everybody should vote, and this grassrootization of politics, especially, I think is very problematic.
And I was going to say that
not so much, I would say, I'm not so much general elections democracy thing, but I do generally think political parties as a up-down structure are much more effective than as bottom.
And I mean, maybe I would add to that a bit if that goes with it or not, I'm not sure. But also the idea that democracy, no matter what, is better than the alternative, no matter how it's even being carried out, like who can do it and like what are the other conditions. I think that perhaps goes a little bit with your argument too. Or I mean, at least for me, that's what kind of pisses me off sometimes about democracy, is that it's always seen in this way that for sure this is the best option, the way that doing it, and nothing can go, not that nothing can go wrong, but yeah, this is definitely a good thing. We don't even need to discuss whether maybe right now in this situation it is not actually the optimal option.
I think democracy, just like many religions, and religion itself, the word religion, has become again sort of like first of all, it's a spectrum. Every country in the history, to an extent, you could argue, has been like it's kind of like in history, there's an argument that there was absolute rulers, and then we transformed to sort of like, parliamentary sort of oligarchical type. And there's a bigger school of thought that thinks this is bullshit, and I believe in that. There were never absolute rulers, or even the ones that had divine right, they had to be crowned by the Pope, or they had to commune with the business, like the oligarch of their time. So it's always been some form of like a balance between an oligarchy and a democracy. Is it's like free market. It's a lie. It's just never gonna happen, because you're never gonna have, like, again, it's just we're never gonna start from zero again, and all that. So I don't know, it's just such a lie. It reminds me of when Chomsky was asked about, does he believe in God, and he says, like, or does he believe in any religion, and he replied saying, well, specifically tell me what you mean by God, or what you mean. Like, if somebody says, do you not believe in democracy, or what do you think of democracy, I guess the reasonable response should be, what specifically do you mean by democracy? Then we can talk. But yeah, I think it's idealism, and that's the idealism that is seen, like, nowadays people approach democracy with that same 100%. They approach collective power with that same idealistic approach. So I guess I found my true hate.
Good for you, happy for you. But yeah, I look forward to watching these two videos on gun control and on Superbad. Great movie.
One of the best,
legendary.
One of the greatest, and this video only made it greater. The two cops are my favorite. Those two are my favorite of the whole video. So
great stuff. But okay, let's few other videos. So this one, I don't know if you have much to say. I watched it. They talk about inflation. The Economist on the right of the screen, I guess here, he was just saying, if you want to tackle inflation, of course, rent control, price control, and of course salary control, and not salary control, what's it called now? Wage control. He was saying, of course, wage control is not good, and you have to do all of them together if you really want to get a hold of inflation.
He did say you should do all of the other things except wage control.
Okay, and I agree with him there.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be honest,
Yeah.
look, I mean, not just I think in Iran, because I think we are on the same economic trajectory. But right now, the only thing that would economically solve the situation is price controls, high interest rates for savings and bonds, long-term bonds. So you attract liquidity to your central bank, and then you invest that into your economy and all that. But that's been the solution for the last 40 years. They've never, like, they know they're not going to do it. I don't think they're going to, I mean, not this gang of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hopeful another gang will come up that will be like that, but I don't think this gang, I mean, these are the people who, I was just, what happened when Shinto Abe and stuff. We're gonna have a good discussion on geopolitics, I think, this week. And these are the people who in 90s, 80s, 90s, and aughts onwards, they basically started emptying out like Asian Development Bank and all these type of things that was the infrastructure for their own like base, for their own security, for their own. So I don't think they're gonna right now start doing any of this.
For sure. Anything else catch your attention in this video?
Oh no.
Yeah, sure. Same here. The classic Brianna interview video.
Yeah.
Nothing to say much there. Now, this was super interesting. Now, this I sent to you. I only saw 7 minutes of this because I think Katie Halper now
a massive misunderstanding. I thought Vijay Prashad has come out against democracy as a whole, but no, it was just Democracy Now, the channel.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I was so excited for 2 minutes. I was like...
So now Katie Halper, I feel like she puts the full interviews just on behind a paywall and only chops it up for her YouTube. So I watched a 7-minute video, and then they're talking about different things, and then pretty much Vijay Prashad gets to the point where he's talking about the coverage of China and what is going on there in that Xinjiang province and all this, and Ukraine, and then surprisingly, he's like, he talks about his disappointment in Democracy Now and Amy Goodman, and he mentions an analyst that they brought, and he's pretty much saying, they're just
who the fuck is this man? He's not an expert. He's got such a soft, by the way, I can't do it. It's got a very soft Indian accent, so but it's hard to do.
He was pretty much saying literally what Aaron Matte and Glenn Greenwald said.
Amy, what the fuck? Amy, when did you start inviting these people over? It's like when you find out your friend is like hanging out with bots or something, and you're like, what the hell?
And which surprises me. I don't know why. Apparently, I haven't watched Democracy Now in like half a decade, but I don't know why. Apparently, on Ukraine, why would
capture?
But for the Ukraine and the Xinjiang one and all this,
I think these are cases of linguists. They talk about audience capture or that of or people who fund you capture. This is linguistic capture. As soon as you say genocide, Democracy Now is legally bound to have you on their show and discuss. Okay, all right. So there's a genocide against Egyptian. By who? By Egyptians. Okay. Explain to it. Okay. I think as soon as you mention genocide or like trans or one of these, I found a new gender identity. Okay, invite him. Amy Goodman I think it's a legal thing. I don't think Amy Goodman has any choice.
Yeah, maybe. But Vijay Prashad, he should have a little conversation with Glenn and Aaron Matte. Aaron should, if he's willing to expand on this, Aaron should invite him.
Zone should bring Vijay Prashad on. That would be
3-hour
awesome.
podcast. One of those 3-hour one where Max Blumenthal either leaves halfway or comes halfway.
Oh, yeah. and then his wife from next floor is like, hey, Anya, can you go on? I'm going shopping. All right. Yes.
Those ones are all on like a Friday, and it's doing like thousands of live viewers. It's amazing.
And he's doing a call-in with Aaron at the same time. And don't tell them we are doing this call-in at this. Don't. This is clandestine operation.
While Aaron is in Duma.
Looking for gas. Where are the fucking cylinders? Where are the fucking cylinders? Nobody has shown me a single cylinder. And since 2005, I've been following this bullshit. Before the war started.
This is Iron Man in like 2060 talking to his grandkids. They're like, Syria, what is that? Where is that? Oh, come
Can you
here.
believe it? The cylinders are put on the roof, but if they're on the roof, the gas does not go. And Grandpa, please, we don't need to know about this. Don't tell us about it. Please don't bring up the cylinder. Not again.
Yeah, Jesus. But yeah. Chris Hedges, I feel like you enjoyed this interview with Katie Halper, or maybe you didn't. Again, it was just a 4-minute clip, and he was talking about the Christian rights capture of the United States. So I don't have too much to comment there. I don't know if you have.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. He doesn't go very far in it. But if you specifically pay attention to his language, it's not a Christian. It's not only Christian rights capture of America or United States or whatever, it's capture of Christianity or
as
Christian
well,
church as well, because he talks about the failings of liberal Christian.
Yeah.
He talks about, this is a misrepresentation of Christianity. And this is the biggest problem I have with Chris Hedges. And it's hard for, and Cornel West, I assume, but I've never heard him as explicitly say, there is no such thing as a liberal church. It's a fantasy. And I mean, it is true as far as maybe like 10 people go, like that they congregate together and pray together, and they are very liberal and nice and everything. But anything beyond that isn't.
Yeah, so you don't think so?
But I don't. I mean, yes, you can argue there were different faction within, but that's like, you look at history and it's always like they start to. Like it's almost like they started religion in the most extreme sense. Then they start couple of hundreds of years being prosecuted. Then they get power somehow through going full on mad or something. Then after they have power for a while, they have different factions. And then usually the crazier faction ends up killing the less crazy factions and goes full on crazy. And then the religion dies out and another prosecuted religion takes over. So, that's always like the extremes of religion have always been the center of it. It's never been like, the current Pope, who's supposed to be the reasonable one. He's sainting people left and right, confirming miracles, okaying exorcisms. It's nothing sent. Just saying.
Yeah. No, I guess so. I mean, I don't have much there to push back. But yeah, I mean, the liberal church is that, better than no, I don't have anything to say really.
It is better, but it's not really sustainable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't share the nostalgia for the nice side of the religion. Although I find it so powerful, and I sometimes consider myself, in my personal, very, very personal, narrow view, a Shia, but I know it's
really?
not really why. Yeah, in a very narrow sense. If looked at it as a political ideology rather than a religion. See, again, that's the thing with religion, though. Its beauty is in its flexibility, and when you want to take that away from it, I think whether you want to say it's liberal or whether you want to say it's conservative, either one. It's illusion. Its beauty is in its flexibility. That's what Marx never understood. Contradiction is to be embraced. Contradiction is not a cause of a downfall. Contradiction is the glue that holds the thing together. I'm going crazy. Yeah.
All right, Sam. So our next story is kind of funny. So this is like, I'm sure everybody's heard of this.
It's kind of funny. This is like the most hilarious thing I've ever heard.
So these are the Polish Larpers. Am I saying this correctly?
Larpers
who really got under Anna's skin, and I think also got under the Vanguard boys' skin, especially Gavin, I think. But I mean,
another example of these guys losing it over. I don't know, understand.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know. I still don't know what they. I mean, Anna just took it.
By the way.
Yeah, it's role playing, right? real life
Yeah, you
role
dress
playing.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've been familiarized because of this. But yeah, I mean, like Anna takes it so personally. She's like, not all Americans are like this. And were these people actually trying to make fun of poor Americans, or in their heads, is
That's
it like
man.
Americans are like this? I mean,
Okay.
they take what a bunch of idiots did a bit too seriously. I think that's my only
No,
real
there is a
take.
biggest story here. This is, I mean, a lot of people like to talk about journalistic failures, like Glenn Greenwald and Aaron Matte talking about wars and journalistic failures there. Nobody talks about it. This is the biggest journalistic failure, because first you had the Young Turks video, which I was like, what the fuck? So there are these Polish people who dress up as, specifically people, Ohioans, I
Yeah.
guess, Ohioans or Ohioites. And yeah, I mean, Jesus, like and then on TYT, neither Cenk nor Anna were clear. Cenk was saying that they're doing it to show to him they're doing it as a kind of a counter narrative project, because I mean that was the
It
stupidest
confused
thing.
me so much. Like after I watched the video, I didn't
Cenk's
have a take
was that
because I didn't know what's
take
going
was
on.
that these people have seen the manufacturing consent projects and American in Top Gun and all that, and they've gone, yes, the way to highlight and combat the American culture are, guys, I'm always reminded of Dylan Moran's representation of, like, people who want to combat American empire. Guys, let's get together, and you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put up a village, and that's gonna highlight the idiosyncrasy and the differences between reality of American life and the idealization that is. By the way, in June, I mean, are people chill? Do you think anybody above age 7, they watch movies and go, yes. Anyway, so that's what Cenk thinks. Anna and Zach, I guess, or Gavin.
Gavin, I think. Gavin.
They think it's they're making fun of Americans, like by showing Americans to be disgusting and like hillbilly like and rural, or I don't know whatever. So they think they're being made fun of. Then I tracked down this. What is this? This is the original article they've been, and I couldn't find much else. And in the whole article, the Vice guy met one of the guy who runs this fucking thing. Yeah. And I don't give it. I mean, the typical
Bartosz Bruski.
It's just, it starts with bullshit and continues with bullshit. But then look at the questions. Weiss, the first question. Let's begin with the basics. With the basics, why? That's the only question. That's like the only, why? Like, why would you spend your money and time on this? And look at let's begin with basics. How would you explain what LARP is to someone? Okay. All right, LARP. Okay, we explained right. Now, second question. Why did you decide to do a LARP based in Ohio? I mean, and there is like, he gives no explanation. Read the explanation.
It started about 5 years ago, together with a bunch of friends. By the way, this is a 29-year-old here speaking. Everybody knows here I'm ageist, so I'm just pointing out. We decided to do a LARP inspired by Stranger Things and X-Files. What is X-Files still a thing?
Yeah, I mean, they had a season. Like,
oh, really? Okay.
No, X-Files is always a thing.
We wanted to recreate a small town in the United States where strange things happen, and because of that, men in black arrive. We visited various resorts in Poland looking for one that would perfectly reflect the small town on the edge of the great gloomy forest.
Pause. So basically, it had almost like nothing to do with America or Ohio. It was about like a rural town, men in black coming. Like,
what's the man?
It's just what's the connection to America? We found
a resort in Lodz province near the city of Tomasz Mozowiecki. One of us, I don't remember anymore to whom this glory falls, said it wasn't the place we're looking for. But if we redesigned it a bit, it would look like an American trailer park. At the next project meeting, we didn't talk about Stranger Things and X-Files, but we talked about American trailer parks. That's how it started. Listen, if this is a way for you to get chicks, I support it. I mean, it could be,
Yeah,
people go
that's true.
through,
I
they
support
do the craziest things just to have the chance to like talk to a girl. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it started.
According to this picture, we can confirm two females have been attracted through promise of a beer and I guess a stranger things like a viewing or something. They've been managed to be brought to the campus area.
I mean, for sure, the reporter should have pressed them on the reason why, and the guy would have said, "Fine, it's because of Veronica." So it's 6 years ago. But now it has turned into I don't know how I got from Veronica to this. I'm pretty sure I would bet anything that was the main thing behind it.
Bored and like, I mean, like, this is
and
so
I don't
funny.
get this milk and honey reference. I guess I don't know about America enough, but what's with the milk and honey reference? We grew up with a vision of the States as if it's the land of milk and honey. Is this some kind of like saying?
That's a reference to heavens. Heaven.
Okay.
No, but America was a land of dreams.
Dreams, but I never heard the milk and honey.
Yeah, milk.
Then when you grow up and information is shared more, it turns out that it's so nice. It's so nice in the States. We came up with the idea of broken American dream, and this was the motive for the project. Yeah, no, for sure that was the motive. That's what you told Veronica.
Apparently, I'm guessing Veronica is into Marxism or like is not very pro-American.
Yeah.
Veronica has been watching these movies, and I'm definitely pro-American dream. I know what that is, and I know what it means when it's broken. So yeah, but man, by the way, I like to point out, always people point out in Iran that land of milk of honey for heavens is a bit of problematic thing, considering that milk in room temperature and honey in room temperature, both, because it's described as, rivers of honey and all that. It's not,
I see what you mean.
But yeah, anyways.
But then, Anna's reaction, though, I mean, the way she took it personally.
Anna's reaction was
we're not all like this in America.
If we do this, they would. And the fact that she said that just shows how fucking, they say, what is that thing? The blinders. She has the blinders on, like, if you do this, Hollywood has been doing this for the last 50 years, like especially like Eastern European and Russians. Like if you're from like anywhere from like east, like center of Germany eastwards, like you're represented worse than like Muslims who are almost like always terrorists, and you're worse than them because like, you kidnap girls in Europe, like you do something really fucked up. You think, like if we did, everybody would be up in arms.
That's all I was thinking. But I was just so confused by the whole thing in my head. I couldn't even I was like, is it like, what is she really flipping out over what I think it is? And it ended up being what I thought it is. And
it's less than what I mean.
And Gavin,
they didn't even have a TGIF. Like in Dubai, we had a TGIF. Does that count as, by the way, as cultural? Were we offending the American? Oh, don't tell Anna about the fact that there is a TGIF and a Hard Rock Cafe. Let's not forget about that. Jesus Christ.
And I feel like Gavin went on the other side. Gavin made it seem like this was like the art movie of the century or something. He was like comparing it to like other like, big
Gavin. Gavin like Jeng had a weird like they're adding too many layers. Like this is an onion. Like you don't need, you're unlayering nothing,
Listen, but this guy, the founder, is now a 29-year-old who was 24 when he saw Stranger Things and something to do with Men in Black.
No, that was Katrina. Veronica is into broken American dreams at the time. That's why the concept changed, really. The girl back then was more into sci-fi. Clearly, now she's more into American broken dreams.
But the level,
I read the article. If you please, people read this article, tell me do you understand why are they doing this, or do you know where my
Why not? So they pretty much found a hack to go hang out in the woods, drink beers, hit on chicks.
What chick? Like, you have to convince the chicks to come. I can't see, unless these chicks are really emotionally attached to these men. Why would they come? Like, unless you, I mean, I like, my girlfriends barely went to cinema with me. Why would anybody go if we did? I mean, again,
Whenever,
I know you're gonna
90% of
come
the
back
time.
To me, it's you.
No.
I know.
No. I was just gonna say 90% of the time when young men do weird stuff, it's typically because of
No, I know. Unless the chicks,
of a girl or
I
a
guess
guy.
the chicks. I can imagine that it was, there must be a Lady Macbeth behind the Macbeth here, guiding the throne, because I guess you're right. I don't know, but it's just as a way to attract chicks, I can't see it working.
Now let me tell you how we could make this weirder. If Jordan Peterson were to comment on the whole thing.
The dark forces are gathering in Poland.
Jordan, let's take it easy. Let's gather the facts first. The
dark forces of in the forest, near the forests. Oh man, this is perfect for him.
Listen,
near a forested area, a grim forested area. This mother, oh my god,
his imagination would run wild. He would be making the craziest historical trends and connections.
He would go full Don Quixote. He would take out a sword, just riding with horse towards the full chaos. You must be fought back.
Man, Kyle should have really asked them. But listen, first thing first, kudos to Jordan Peterson for apparently getting another message by Kyle and quickly going on the show. I love his face when he's listening to Kyle's arguments.
Oh, he's serious. That's his. He's serious. I'm in danger mode. The interviewer is there. This is not Joe Rogan, who I love, and I wear tuxedos for. This is somebody I love Kyle's, by the way, face, because look, Jordan Peterson, we have these criticism of him a lot, but he's well read. I give him that. Kyle is not even that, I don't think. And he's just a smug face the whole interview. And I agree. I read somewhere that whether you agree with Jordan Peterson or Kyle's position, and whether you think Jordan Peterson is a smart or not, like, Kyle really proved himself to be just. Really? I mean, I only watched 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. I only watched 10 minutes. So yeah, that's why I don't have too much of a take.
I mean, the 2 videos I only watched, not the podcast. I didn't listen to the podcast, but yeah, man. Look, the trans thing we discussed a lot, right? But what was his argument there?
I don't even recall the 10-minute one. What was it?
So what did you like about his take then?
Did I say I like this take?
No, I thought because you said you were surprised by my negative take on him.
Did I say that?
I thought you said you were surprised that I am.
No.
Okay, all right. No, okay. But anyway, I'm imagining this. But the trans thing, you can agree with him or disagree. I don't care about that. But his whole argument, Jordan Peterson is talking about this thing is causing huge psychological damage at a grand scale. Actually, it's exponentially worse, which is, his argument leads to what he does a good job there, Kyle. I must say, he takes it to the natural conclusion, which is censorship and authoritarianism. If you start thinking ideas, and if Ellen Page appearing on some magazine, like, children are going to be like, oh, she's a role model, let's cut off our dicks. But then Kyle's argument against his position is, man, I had a guy a couple of years ago, he called me and he said that, I always felt like I was a woman, and then I had a surgery and now I feel really better. And I feel like as somebody who doesn't know, well, I should respect his position, and whatever. And this is great philosophy for like normal life, you know, how to conduct yourself in a, you know, like in a room with full of strangers. But it's not an argument against what he was talking about with, you know, oh, trans, you know, role models are destroying the psychology of the young
I see
man
what
and
you're
it's
saying,
causing such a damage. I mean, his arguments have profound. You can argue with him on his own grounds. You can't just go, no, I knew a guy and he told me it's cool. So yeah, it's cool now. What do you mean? Well, this is like, I knew another guy and he had the surgery and then he was disappointed. So that's proof all the trans people are, what the fuck is that argument? And then he's a smug sort of, God damn it. Jeez, I mean, everybody's, I hope I'm not a smug, but I am probably.
But yeah, I don't have much else to say. I don't have much else to say here except about Kyle's chair and map.
Say about... Oh, well, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's it. I said I think that was enough. Just saying his chair and map, I think, is enough.
I think the map is really bad.
As a lover of maps, it really pisses me off. I hate these colors.
And globe. I love globes and maps and
no, he has an ugly map. Like ugly. I mean, I have a crappy chair, but my excuse has been if our channel is bigger, I would get a good chair that doesn't have this. I mean, he's become big enough. Just please get one of those gaming chairs. You'll look so much cooler, and just please put a nicer map behind you.
Go to Breaking Point Studio. Please,
no, but he had COVID here. Yeah, so I didn't go. But yeah, fair enough.
Okay. I'm more upset with the. I don't know why you hate the chair more than the. I hate the map, because especially the fluorescent colors, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, I would. No, as a map lover, I really don't like this map. One of those that you find in like the back of like a physics class or like a geography.
Yeah. This is like one of the free ones they give you like when you buy a geography book. You know, like you cut it off.
But yeah, on the substance that they talked about, I really don't have much. I just watched that 10-minute clip a few days ago now.
It gets interesting in a substantive, I guess, manner at some point. He does say that, would you ban adult people from getting sex reassignment surgery? And Perterson, in his typical, like, I'm in an interview that, I'm not fully with the people who love me. And, I want to play this safe and all that. You can tell that from the very beginning when he talks about Trump and all. But he's like, I don't know. As if he has to make that decision like in 5 minutes. It's so difficult. It's very the moral way of these decisions. By the way, the decision must be like, yes, you should allow them, even if you like think they're wrong. Just say you think you're wrong. You allow them to do whatever the fuck, it's their body. So Anyway,
So he finally got his fine, and I love Kyle. Anytime he talks,
rest just for comedy purposes.
Maybe check it out. But anytime Kyle talks about Jordan Peterson, he starts off with how much he loves his psychology and how much he watched his entire series. And
what was it, on Freud or what?
I don't know.
Man, Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
And finally, Sam, your favorite two have combined here. So Nina Jankovic, for anybody who doesn't remember, and I'm pretty sure most people, like, if they're sane, they would have forgotten about this person. But yeah, this was the person who was in charge of the misinformation unit. I don't know, whatever. Disinformation unit for like half a day.
Justice League.
For like half a day. And yeah, apparently
going to lead the secret army. But
she went on the X show.
She was selected by the discounted version of Jeff Bezos or Lex Luthor. But she was sadly, and she was now again being supported by another bald man, and I use man in quotation marks because, as we all know, he's not a man. He's Humpty Dumpty's scion. I guess he's a scion of
Sam is referring to this gentleman.
Brian Stelter.
Oh, the one
This
is
is
Brian.
a
Yeah,
the highly misrepresentative of the picture of the egg. It's far shinier and far rounder now.
yeah.
I dispute that representation.
When did he take this? But this was probably
is-
taken like a year ago when he was 23. Before.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can see very egg-like features already then, but I mean, but the egg, I mean, it's so rare. We get two characters from medieval fairy tales, Humpty Dumpty and Mary Poppins. I mean, Mary Poppins is not from medieval, but she's a fairy tale of some kind. So evil Mary Poppins, also known as Nina Jenquitz, showed up to get some support from Humpty Dumpty in. And it's by the way, I love how CNN is turning into like a self-help sort of organization for the super like powerful and all that, because I don't know who was viewing this or who was getting or what was the political even purpose of this at the end. Like, what are you they're not going to bring the board back, but it was just like, yeah, sister, I know what you went through. And it was so many lies, so many slanders, and it was no, that was not true. Actually Brian, as you know Humpty, it was not true that I can fly. I cannot fly. I was just who gives a shit? But they were having, the two sisters were having a good cry over recent breakup they had with one of the most evil corporations.
No, that's a hilarious framing. And just listen to this pathetic tweet. Was happy to speak with Brian Stelter on reliable sources yesterday. Disinformation should not be an untouchable problem. We need our politicians to recognize that it knows no political party and to re-inject some humanity into our political discourse. I mean, probably the lamest 5 words put together here. Humanity into our political. Re-inject some humanity into our political
into our is nice. Into our is 2 words I can into our is usually 2 words I can get behind or in front of, depending on the mood.
But computer froze here. But yeah, okay. Hopefully it doesn't crash.
Did you get my great joke about into or?
I think so. No, I would say it again. I thought it was just these 2 words are the only ones.
It's just it's into our is 2 great words I can get behind or front of.
Okay.
But that's the joke. But
good one, Sam.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna have to ban you from Spar.
You're not okay. This was
1
the last
month
pun
no pay.
Was the last pun you're allowed to make for, not pun even, play on word. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, it was just, I was so happy to see the egg at its best trying to help this lady. But he did like a couple of times. His very sort of one-sided questions, she was being rattled by them because
really?
He was like, so your disinformation board couldn't handle the news that the information that you got elected or selected as the thing, and she was like, no, it couldn't. It was it was awful. Okay, all right, lady. But yeah, by the way, again, anybody who doesn't think, like, I assume like half of CIA and half of NSA and all that is like this. But I don't understand why they went on and thought we should like make a public board out of, like what I assume that is what NSA and CIA and all these deep. Like, what else do they do? Do they? I mean, unless they do, I mean.
No, I told you from the get-go. It was just a stupid thing. Like, it was just someone's idea, and in 2 minutes they.
To be honest, and as a human, if I was member of any state, and I'm member of Iranian state for now, so as Iranian, I hope the intelligence services are like, like you would hope that's what they're doing. Probably most of the time they're actually selling drugs, to poor people in communities, but whatever.
To fund their operations.
To fund their like their coke party, then themselves buying coke in Colombia and having parties with prostitutes. It's just it's a cycle of life, I guess.
Yeah. But okay. Good stuff for today. All right, folks, please leave your comments, question, and criticism down below. Make sure to get to them. If not, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.